So lately, I've had this feeling that I'm losing the ability to actually code, like sit down with a problem, figure it out piece by piece, and build a solution myself, the way you would solve a puzzle. There is so much AI in the mix now. I just don't do that as much anymore, and it's honestly been very frustrating for me. So I set myself a challenge: rebuild Lunar Lander from scratch in C++ and SDL3. I used to spend hours playing this game as a kid, the original Lunar Lander. Now, why Lunar Lander? Because there's no art to worry about. There's no sprites, there's no textures, there's nothing to draw. It's all just lines and shapes and vectors, which means I can put all my focus on the code. Now, just a disclaimer, I did use AI, but it was only for the stuff I genuinely did not want to spend time on, like the CMake file, the plumbing. But the game itself, that's all handwritten. That's the whole point of this exercise. So, quick look at the CMake file. This is the part AI wrote for me. All it does is find the SDL3 library, link it to the project, and copy SDL3's DLL next to the build.exe so the game runs on its own. It's necessary, but it's not the interesting part. So, moving on. So, starting off, two includes at the top. First is the SDL3/SDL.h. This pulls in the entire SDL3 API, Windows, rendering, input, all of it in one single header. The second one is IOStream. This is there just so I can print errors to the console while I'm getting things working. So first thing I do is start up STL. STL underscore init boots up whichever subsystems I ask for. Here I'm only passing STL underscore init underscore video because that's all I need for a window and a renderer. It returns true when it works, which is why the check reads if not SDL underscore init. If it fails, I print the error and bail out. And that SDL underscore get error, that gives me SDL's own internal error message whenever something goes wrong. You will see it show up quite a lot. Now the window, SDL underscore create window hands me back a SDL underscore window pointer. And I want to be clear about that. It's a pointer, not the window itself. SDL owns the actual window data internally. It's an opaque type. You're not supposed to know or care what's inside it. The pointer is just a handle, a reference that I can pass into other SDL calls to say, do this to that specific window. The arguments are the title, the width, the height, and then a flags value. I am passing 0, which just means there's no special flags, like not resizable, not full screen, none of that yet. And if the window fails to create, notice I have to call SDL quit before returning. At this point, SDL is initialized, but nothing else exists yet. So that's the only thing I need to undo. Next, the renderer. Same idea as a window. SDL underscore renderer is a handle to the thing that actually draws pixel into the window. And notice it's created from a window. That's the first argument. The renderer depends on the window already existing. The second argument, null pointer. That's where you would name a specific render driver, like OpenGL. Passing null just lets SDL pick one for me automatically. But here's the part I actually want to point out. Look at the cleanup now. It's two calls, and they are in a specific order. Destroy the window first, then quit STL. And that order matters. The renderer was built on the window. The window was built on STL being initialized. So I have to tear things down in the reverse order I built them up. Right now, that just means I remember the right order and type it out by hand every single time. And at this size, I think that's completely fine. It's just something that I have to keep in my head. Even towards the end of the program, you see I have to manually enter the cleanup, first destroying the renderer, then the window, and then quitting the STL itself. But there is a C++ idiom for automating exactly this. It's called RAII. Basically, you wrap each of these in a little class whose destructor does the cleanup for you. So you stop having to think about writing all this manual cleanup by yourself. It's worth knowing the name for, but I'm going to give it its own episode probably later down the line. Once there's enough going on to actually justify it, for now, keeping it manual keeps the focus on the game itself. Okay, the main game loop. It all hangs off this one boolean running. I set it to true up front, and the outer while just keeps going for as long as that stays true. So this bool is basically the on switch for the whole game. The moment it flips to false, the loop ends and the program shuts down. Inside that loop, The first thing I do is handle events. Now SDL underscore poll events, it drains SDL's event queue one event at a time. So key presses, mouse movement, the close button, all of it. And SDL underscore event quit is the one that fires when you click the Windows close button. When that comes in, I set running to false. I don't stop right there, I just flip the switch, and the outer loop notices on its next go around and exits cleanly. And I want to name the structure here because it's quite easy to miss. There are actually two loops nested together. The inner while, which is this one, it just empties whatever events piled up in this pass and then drops out. And everything after it, all the drawing, is still inside the outer loop, which is this one. So each time around, it's the same rhythm. Deal with input, then draw the frame, then come back and do it all again. And that's the whole thing running every single pass, whether or not any events came in or not. So that's really all the game loop means. Handle input, draw, repeat, as fast as a loop can spin until running goes false. Now the actual drawing. Let me go through these one at a time. SDL underscore set render draw color. This does not draw anything by itself. It just sets the current color. The color the renderer will use for whatever gets drawn next. This first call sets it to black, fully opaque. SDL underscore render clear, then paints the entire target with that color. That's what wipes and repaints the background every single pass. Then I set the color again, 255, 0, 0. That's red. SDL underscore frect is just a plain struct, x, x value, y value, uh, the width and height, all floats. So this is basically, I'm painting a 100 by 100 square, right? Sitting roughly in the middle of my 800 by 800 window. Then I use SDL underscore render fill rect, which draws this as a filled rectangle using the current color. And then the last one is SDL underscore render present. This is the important one. SDL isn't drawing straight to the visible window. It draws into an off-screen buffer first. Render present is what flips that finished buffer onto the screen. This is called double buffering, and it's the reason the drawing does not flicker on the window. So let's build it, and then let's run it. And there it is, a black window, a red square, roughly in the center. So that's my lander, well, the placeholder for it as of now. Next video, this rectangle actually becomes the lander. Gravity pulls it down, thrust from the up arrow pushing back against it, and left and right to steer. No rotation yet. I think I'll put in that later. And the cleanup stays manual for now. RAII is coming, but just not yet. So see you all next time. Bye bye.